Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. On the Sword Coast, the allies will help with blazing bows and magic as well. Hey, hey, heroes on their way. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, hit you while I'm there. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions. From Waterdeep to Icewind Dale, head out the Shelf or Shadowfell, hey, hey. Together we stay. Walk to the monsters, walk to the boss, walk to the right, it's never a loss, hey, hey. Bad guys to slay. Fighting forever against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, hit you while I'm dead. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions.
Hey, that's my cue. Welcome, everybody. Whew, late on my cues this week. Good morning. It's Saturday. Some point in April? I don't remember dates anymore. This is Gaarawarr's Guide to Greengrass. I do know that Greengrass started this week on Wednesday. That's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about Greengrass and its accompanying champions. This time around in year 4, we get 3 of them. It's always just going to be 3 unless they make some major change in the future. So this year we see the return of Ayla and Melf, and we see the arrival of Orkira. So we'll be going over the event and the champions, so that you've still got how much time left? Still got 10 days. Yeah, still got 10 days to work on the event. So hopefully this will help you move through the event and complete it in full. I've already finished it all, I believe. So yeah, let's see what happens. See lots of, did we get the right? Yes, we have the right code. Okay. Yay. Yay. All right, everybody. Let us see. So, I'm going to start off with some very basic stuff for anybody who is brand new to the game. Normally, you look at maps like this one for the Sword Coast, and it's probably smaller. You're probably looking at here and maybe here. And then there's this list of campaigns along the left side. Well, the events always go at the very bottom. This is Greengrass. There's only ever one at a time. And when you click on it, it's going to take you to a new kind of map that only has one node on it. Like, you can scroll around and look at this awesome artwork of this map that they made, but really, all that matters is this one little spot. And you're going to get 3 adventures. One for Ayla, one for Melf, one for Orkira. And normally it will just be the regular nodes, and it will just say adventure and not free play when you unlock it for the first time. And these are the unlock missions, just these base adventures when you do these base adventures, this is what unlocks the champion. So the reward down here, instead of being a chest, like a mystery chest, like it says here, it will show the picture of the actual champion. And that's really what you want to do first. You really just want to do one by one. You want to do each of the unlock adventures. They each have a different layout. You can see this one looks like kind of like a tree or an arrow, however you like that. This one's, I think we called this when it came out an iron. Kind of looks like an old school iron for ironing your clothes. No idea what this one is, folks. I don't know. Half of a dead body? I don't know. But anyway, you got multiple layouts. Run these adventures like you would just a favor run. Just try to push. They're fairly inexpensive. Just try to push as far as you can. Get as much favor off these first 3 unlocks. You're going to have, after that, you're going to have 3 new champions that won't have any gear, but that's fine. You can work on that. But you'll also have a good amount of favor, which is going to make everything else easier. Because once you do these, it unlocks all of these extra variants. So each champion is going to have 3 different variants for their adventure and with their layout. And you're going to have to make your way through them. I recommend doing these as favor runs specifically so that you'll get these to show as this green, difficulty easy, as quickly as possible. Because in general, I do not recommend attempting any of these as a new player unless they show as easy. And even then, because they're variants, you're going to want to read their rules over here. See how this says no restrictions? These are restrictions. We want to read all of these and judge like how easy is it going to be. Now on my guide on the Reddit, I throw a guide up, a written guide up on the subreddit. Every the day an event starts, usually within the first hour or so of the event starting, because I've been doing it for a while, so I got it down pat. And I'll usually put some tips in about variants at some point. That may not happen in the first hour. If it's a new variant and I got to figure it out myself, it may take a little while. But yeah, so if you're looking at them and you're not sure how difficult it's going to be, we'll go over that today. But also know that that's in written form on the internet for you. So yeah, just do favor runs. So if even after unlocking those first 3, after unlocking the first 3, you're probably getting the first mission, the first variant for each champion. Probably green at that point. If you got some decent pushing in. If not, hop into a free play. Pick one of the free plays, and do that. Again, I don't recommend doing any of the variants, frankly, until they all show as green. That's just me personally. It's my personal recommendation. That's kind of what you're here for, I feel. Mainly because because events cost tokens, like these. This time around, they're called bouquets, because they cost tokens to do. There is a loss associated with attempting these that is not there when you're doing anything else in the game. Regular campaigns, there's no loss for attempting a variant. Time gates, there's no loss for attempting a variant. But in events, there's a loss. You lose these bouquets, and there's a limited amount of them that you're provided with over the course of an event. There's enough for you to do everything, and even screw 1 or 2 of these up and have to do it again, but it's much better to put those resources into just doing more free plays. Find a formation that fits you and your abilities, and go do that. I like this one. I like Melf's formation for newer players. The reason I like that is there's a lot of adjacency in these double stacks through here. So and a lot of champions like adjacency for their buffs. They like to either be next to or in the column behind something when they're doing stuff. And this allows for a good stack of that. Whereas, you've got this big gap here, and then there's adjacency back here, but usually your DPS isn't all back here. It's usually up here. So Melf's tends to be the one I would recommend. This has adjacency back here, but for newer players who are still using, say, Nieli, maybe not the best formation. So I think a new player is probably gonna start here. Would be my recommendation. And then, every time you do a free play, the cost changes. They'll start at a lower amount and go up. The maximum cost for a free play is going to be 2,500 of the event tokens. Each time you do it, it'll start off at 500 and it goes up by 500 each time. So you can do some of these and farm them, and they'll be fairly inexpensive. And the reward is a random chest for that champion. So if you're gonna farm favor and melfs, you're gonna get random melf chests, and that can be either silver or gold. There is a pity timer. I believe the overall chance is 1 in 3 of getting a gold chest from doing free plays. However, if you've done 3 and you haven't got a gold chest yet, the next one will give you one. So there's a 1 in 4 pity timer. So this is the best way, even when the cost of free plays is maxed out at 2,500. This is the best way to get chests for your tokens. So 10,000 tokens at max cost will get you 4 chests instead of buying 1 from the store. Don't buy them from the store, folks. At worst, you're going to end up with 3 silvers and 1 gold, but at best, you could have 4 golds, all for the same price that you paid for something in the store. So that's the general overall idea of what you want to do when you're starting an event. Keep in mind you want to push for favor. You want to try to get that favor up as high as possible in one of these free plays, and then you can go and dig into these. This event, there are some difficult ones, and we're gonna go over those. Just like there was a really hard one last event. If for some reason you're unable to do something in an event, don't stress about it. If it just ends up being that you can't finish that, that's fine. That's fine. The event will come around again next year. You can knock them off your to-do list then, or you can do them in a time gate in between now and then, because when you do a time gate, you're given one of these at random for the champion. So it's not a big stressful deal. You're not losing a whole lot if you're not able to do one of them. But if you want to try to do as many for each champion as possible, because these are what guarantee you, when you do them the first time, they guarantee you a gold chest. But it's not the biggest thing in the world if you can't do them all. What else do I want to mention right away? Oh, so for this event, people usually want to know, well, what should my priorities be? Like, which one should I focus on? Frankly, these are all good champions. Ayla is, my personal opinion, the best tank in the game, due to her self-shielding mechanic. She's also a great debuffer if you want to use her in a support position. Melf is a good support champion. Maybe not the greatest, but a good one. But he's also a good speed champion. He does want items, good items and item levels for that, but he still does provide a speed effect, and speed champions are great to have in your roster. And Orkira, who is brand new, comes in as a solid healer as well as a solid debuffer, and right in slot 1, so a swap for Brunor. So giving you a swap right away that is Brunor has some specific positions, like he always wants to be in the column of the DPS, and he usually wants to be within a couple spaces of tanks for, like, there's a ramping buff if you're going to use that. Orkira is much more flexible in placement. She wants to be nowhere near the tanks, and and if she's next to the DPS, that's fine, but it doesn't matter. She just wants to be nowhere near the tanks, so she can go in the far back and do all her things, and it's totally great. Having that kind of flexibility in a support champion as an option in a position is a wonderful thing. So I think all 3 of these are good to go. Let me just reference. Let me reference my own guide. In general, yeah, I think those are the general tips we like to go over. Event tokens. I did say there is a limited amount of event tokens. there is no way to speed up how event tokens arrive or to farm more of them by doing anything specifically like doing certain runs. You don't have to sit in event free plays or event missions to earn tokens. They drop as a server-side count 1 every 25 seconds. It doesn't matter how many parties you're running. It doesn't matter if you're using speed potions. 1 every 25 seconds is how they will be delivered to you, as long as you're killing something. If for some reason you are not killing things, you won't see them drop. However, once you start killing things again, the server will start attempting to catch you up on the amount that you are behind. There is one way to get extra event tokens, so bouquets for this event, and that is to open bounty contracts, because bounty contracts reward you based on an amount of time. So each bounty contract is a variable. Usually it drops gold based off offline progress for a specific amount of time, but it also drops event tokens based off that amount of time as well. So this is why you'll hear people talking about, should I burn bounty contracts this event, etc., etc. Yes, I burn all of my bounty contracts every event. That is not what everyone does. Some people hoard their bounty contracts and then only spend them on champions they think are worth it. In quotes, worth it. I just like gearing up all my champions as equally as possible when they arrive. So I burn them all. So that is one way if you want to run more free plays. Once you've done all the variants and you want to run more free plays for champions to get more chests to try to get better gear, bounty contracts, you can do them anywhere in any mission. And that'll help you out. All right. So if we want to start off with Ayla, like I said, we will get into each of these specific champions. We'll go over them in a moment. But for now, let's talk about their variants. So the very first variant, the first variant of every single one of these is going to be to Area 75. The second will be to 125, and the third will be to 175. That's just how variants in events work. The difficulty can vary. Sometimes, like you would think that the 175 one will always be the hardest, but that is not the case. There's always an exception to the rule. So you always have to read. These restrictions, even if it shows easy. Because here's the other thing: just because this difficulty shows is easy doesn't mean it is. This is the equivalent of, at a theme park, that sign that says, you should be this tall to ride this ride. Just because you're taller than that sign doesn't mean you're going to enjoy the ride. So, this is just a minimum kind of marking they're giving you. This is entirely based off your favor. So the favor in fact, I can tell you roughly how much you need to trigger each color. For the first variant, that's roughly, to make it green, is roughly 20,000 favor, or 2 EO4 favor. For the third one, it's roughly 15 million, or 1.5 EO7. And for the fourth, anywhere from 150 million to like 1 billion in there. So 1 EO8 up to 1 EO9, sometimes 1 E10, it can even be 10 billion. I think they got those numbers right. Anyway, in that neighborhood, I'm used to using the E numbers, so keep in mind that's what you're looking for. I like to recommend getting about EO10 usually on average as a new player trying to get there. Usually, if you can get in the EO10 range, you should be able to complete most, if not all, of these. Sometimes there will be an exception. So, Pixie Machinations. Pixie riding an intellect devour appears in every area. Of course. Random champion is stunned as long as the pixie is alive. So what this is, the way to translate this is this basically means that in each level, you're going to be down a random champion. You don't know which, because it's going to be stunned. And if it stuns your DPS, well, you're probably going to die and wipe and go back a level. So this is one that you're going to want to pay attention to and be somewhat active at in playing. Again, fortunately, it's only to 75, so it's not going to be horrible. And if you wait until all of these show as green, it's probably just going to be a breeze. It's probably going to be a breeze. For Starve Them Out, again, we see a return of Intellect Devours. Only champions with 12 int or lower may be used. So this one gets real restrictive. After Area 10, a giant Intellect Devourer appears in every area, making all other monsters immune to damage. Not great. It has 200 armored hit points. That's a lot. Its health is reduced by 10 points, and that means the armored that it's his is reduced by 10 points for every point of int less than 12 that your champions have. So this one wants you to use effectively the least intelligent champions possible. Because if you do it right, you reduce this 200 way down. Like normally a boss has 50 armored hit points, right? And this has 200. So you want to get it, you want to shrink it down as much as possible. I put up an example formation of how to do this. And keep in mind it's for every point of int less than 12 that your champion has, it goes down 10, right? So there are champions like Brunor that can bring it down by 4 points, which means you're losing 40 armored health, right? I built a formation that gets you down to the max of the shrinkages. What is this going to be? Oh, I didn't write down what the max is, but it's, let's see, 3, 6, 10, 12, 20, 25 points is what I remember. So basically it's, oh yeah, that's way overkill. But basically getting it down so that when the Intellect Devourer appears with all of its armor, you defeat it real quick and then you move on. Otherwise, you better have a really durable tank, right? Because it's gonna be rough. You don't get a lot of your basic champions. You get a couple. You get Brunor, you get Celeste, you get Nayeli and Calliope. Minsk is available, but not the greatest against armored stuff. And Jamila and Archon. So, fortunately, if you've unlocked Ayla, Ayla's available, and she takes off 3 points. If you wait and you do it with, Melf Smart, and Orkira's probably going to get you a point or two. I believe she has like an 8, so she would get a 2. So, picking up all the champions will give you other options available, but it is doable. Again, make sure it's showing as green before you even attempt it, and see what happens. Overall, though, I think this is doable. It's just, again, you only have to get to 125, which shouldn't be horrible as long as you've got the favor. You're gonna hear me say that a lot. As long as you've got the favor. Ride the Storm. Ayla starts at level 10 in the front of your formation and it cannot be moved. Well, that's great because she's a great tank. So you want her in there. That's not really a problem or something you should worry about. This is basically hey, it's time to learn to use this champion adventure. Ayla's Storm Strike hits 2 enemies with each strike. Fantastic, because this is her thing. It's actually, that's what gets things going. So this just makes it even easier to use her. Only enemies affected by Ayla's primed or electrified states can be damaged. Well, now here's the thing. With Ayla, and we'll talk about this in a minute, if you go with her left spec, it does this prime stuff real quick. So when you level her up enough to get to her spec choice, at that point everything's going to be good to go, should be good to go within a few seconds of loading in. So early on, going to be a little rough, but again, she starts at level 10. She's a fantastic tank, so it shouldn't be a big problem. Again, as long as it shows as easy, right? On to Mel stuff. Honorable Discharge. So each champion can only be used to beat 50 unique areas. What does that mean? That means if you put in Brunor, if you build out your perfect formation at level 1, with what you want to push this whole thing to. When you complete level 50, they will all be removed from the formation and you won't be able to use them. And you'll have to build an entire other formation because none of those champs will be available. This is kind of a preview of split the party in a sense, right? Losing champions and not being able to use them again. So the thing that I recommend here is, again, waiting until everything shows is green, and then relying on click damage for at least the first 20 through level 26, which you can do if you have enough favor. If you've waited to do this, you can just click your way through. If you're new and you don't have a lot of champions that can swap, you can just click your way through the first 26 levels, and then throw in your whole team, and then beat the remaining 50. If you have a lot of swaps, obviously you put in a subpar team first, even if it isn't a full formation, and you try to get those 26 levels. All right. Second one, only champions with intelligence, the problem solvers, only champions with intelligence of 13 or higher can be used. This is your Strahd preview. Patron Strahd wants 13 int. It's a little restrictive. Jarlaxle qualifies, Ashara qualifies, Delina qualifies, although that's not super helpful for you. But Hitch does as well, so you should have Hitch. Makos, Tyrol, so you get some options. Melf, obviously, because this is his thing. So there are some options here. But it's going to be a little rough out the gate because you don't have a core champion that's available for this until slot 4 Jarlaxle. So you start off, if you don't have any swaps in those first 3 because you're a new player, you're going to start off with just click damage and you have to make it work. So again, try to get everything showing as green before you come back and try to do this one if you don't have a lot of things that are available. And with this, I'm going to mention one of the best ways to figure out if you can do a variant or not without actually going in and wasting your tokens and fail because you fail, is to go do the free play, but only use champions that would qualify for that variant, which means you're going to have to manually look, well, which ones are going to qualify. You're going to go in and manually look at it and update and just build out a limited roster with those 13 and see how far you can push. Can you get the 125 levels? If you can, great. Then you know that once you finish that free play, you'll be able to go back there and do it. If you can't, you know that you probably still need more favor, because if you can get more favor early on, you can level your champions up quicker and thus higher than you normally would be able to, which makes them more powerful. And I refer to that as like over leveling a champion compared to the level that you have to get to. That will let you clear it. Now, if you push and you can't get far enough, or one way or the other, you push as far as you can with that test group, and then because it's a free play and you aren't limited, then you just swap in a full formation and you treat it like a favor run after that point, after you've completed your test. So you're not wasting tokens, but you are figuring out if you can get something done or not. So that is a good strategy for when you're trying to figure out in events, can I do it? As long as it's just your roster restriction and not something like that armored thing that's, because you don't know if you could beat that or whatever. Wheat from the chaff. This one gets a lot of discussion. I've seen it pop up numerous times just in the last couple days. Wheat from the chaff. Melf starts out in the formation with Melf's Righteous Determination unlocked. We're going to talk about what this is. It's basically that he marks someone as evil, and we'll talk about that a little more in a bit. So Melf cannot be removed from the formation or swapped out. Only enemies Melf deems to be evil can be damaged. So this goes back to that whole invincible enemies things. So this one, there isn't really a way to game. It's going to be slow. You need a durable tank. You just got Ayla, hopefully. Otherwise, Nayeli in Devotion spec, or Tyrell in Wild Shape, you're going to need a durable tank and you're going to need a solid group, because they need to be able to kill things the moment. If they're evil, they need to die right away, because you need to be able to complete the level as quickly as possible. But that tank is going to be taking a beating, because most things are going to not be marked evil. So, yeah, it's rough. It's slow. Again, you can't test this one anywhere. You just have to do it, which means you want to wait again until it shows as easy. Maybe even wait until next weekend if you're worried, and do lots of favor runs and get to E10 or E12 or whatever you can get to, just so you can over level your champions, so your tank stays strong. And then the hint for you to take some more time is it may take, if it's taking multiple minutes to complete each level, or maybe 3 or 4 or 5 minutes to complete a single level, set up your strong formation and turn the game off. Offline progress simulates that check as a 1 minute check. So if you can survive and do damage, it moves you along at 1 zone per minute. You will have to check in on it every now and then. That's still at 175. That's a 3-hour run. Checking in on it every half an hour to make sure that it's progressing, and that your formation is working. Good idea, right? But that's, if you want to. So it's still doable, and it can be quicker than doing it actively. If you have some kind of time constraint, but you shouldn't. The thing about events is, even if you were in this on the Monday that it ends, and it's just taken forever and you're worried about time, it's not a big deal. An event, you can stay in an active event for as long as you want. It's not like time gates. Time gates kick you out when their time is up, because that's the fun thing about time travel, is when your trip is done, it yanks you back home. But in an event, you can just keep trying to finish it. So don't worry about that one. Orkira, first variant, Wise Warriors Wait. Only champions with a wisdom score of 13 or higher can be used. So again, we're seeing restrictions based off stat blocks. Enemies move faster and the speed goes up faster every 25 areas. That's just effectively a tank check. Like, is your tank strong enough? Because, it's just going to get to the tank line faster, and your tank will take a bit of a beating. But the wisdom score, 13 or higher. Trying to remember. Oh, yeah, and my formatting in my guide. I got to fix that today. My formatting on my guide is a little screwed up. Sounds rough. But you get Brunor, but you also get Orkira, Celeste. You get... Who else? Shara. So you've got a lot of options here. Ayla. I think Ayla's probably the tank you want to go with. Yeah. So make sure you've picked up Ayla before you do this so that you have a solid tank. And you should be okay, again, as long as it shows green. But it is only to 75, so it's not like things are going to get super duper fast. It is interesting for... So there are certain things some people have recommended, like if you have Briv and you never got his achievement of Divine Patience, it relies on Briv being attacked a bunch, right? Some people are like, oh, get it and wheat from the chaff because you've got all these invincible enemies. Nah, push far and Wise Warriors Wait. If he's, oh wait, hold on, is he available? I said that and then I didn't check to see. No, never mind. But this type of speed up thing would have been great for that. And it is great for anything where somebody has to be attacked, because they spawn super fast and they run up and they hit you real fast. So even if you're killing them, occasionally that works. But just keep that in mind for certain tank achievements. Getting them there quicker can help, but unfortunately Briv isn't available in that one. Bummer. Who else? Ooh, Rosie's there, if you could find a ranged level. All right. So, Volo's Guide to Orkira. Hey, look, Volo, I'm the one that makes champion guides around here, all right? He's stepping on my IP. Orkira starts in a formation and can't be moved or removed. So this is the, hey, you're going to have to use Orkira. And if I remember correctly, she's right here. Like, the X is Volo, And then I think they put her right there. He forgot to mention that he angered a swarm of spine devils before joining, so they appear in each area and deal 300% additional damage. Great. It's just another monster that you have to deal with. It's not a horrible thing, in my opinion. The horrible thing is that you're down a slot. So whenever you're down a slot, you want to make up for it by having more favor. So again, that's why waiting until everything shows is green is a good idea for variants. If you wait until Flayed Whisper showed as green, then this shouldn't be a big problem, right? Can we take a moment with Flare Whispers and just appreciate this scared Tyrell or shocked Tyrell art? That's fantastic. Flare Whispers. This one's annoying, probably. Armored Mind Flayer guards appear in each area. The Elder Brain's Whispers slowly drive your champions mad. When a champion gets a killing blow, they gain a random number of stacks of a debuff. When the debuff reaches 100 stacks, they're stunned for 15 seconds. Mind Flayers and the Elder Brain all deal at 100% additional damage. So this one's super annoying because, A, Armored Mind Flayers. And once again, armor means you've got to hit them a certain number of times. You can't just one-shot things. You have to hit them a certain number of times, and you have to have a certain amount of damage available to take off an armor chunk. So at a certain point, only your primary DPS is going to be able to damage these, which means you're going to see them potentially build up. Now, the nice thing is those Mind Flayer guards, those Armored Mind Flayer guards, they don't count for your level completion, so they can stay alive, frankly. You just kill everything else. That just means that you got to tank. You got to tank them. So again, you'll have 2 tanks in this, which helps with tanking. So this formation will actually assist you there. Just make sure they're both, both in a tank formation. Again, Nellie's tanking spec is Devotion, not Vengeance. Devotion. That is what gives her her health share and gives her a much higher ramping health value. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, just make sure you're using a DPS that has multi-attack. So someone like Ashara or Hitch, right? Or Kira is going to be available at this point. Or Kira's ultimate is great for multi-hit as well. So keep all of those. And the stunning for 15 seconds sucks, but it's not horrible. This will this will only end up being on your, after a certain point, this stun will only ever hit your primary DPS. So that just means, again, solid tanks. Give yourself solid tanks. All right, that is all the variants. Let us hop in. I've just been doing Orkira stuff with my tokens. So we will hop in and we will talk about the champions. Let's get a... Ooh, which familiar? You know what? We'll throw out Griff, Pirate Griff, and Grant. Orkira would know them. And I guess we'll do this in reverse order because Orkira was slot 1, so we'll talk about Orkira first. Say hello to Orkira Ildrax, everyone. This is the Dragonborn Cleric of the Phoenix, and is the character belonging to, probably by now you've heard, our community manager, Lauren Urban. Orkira is going to be a support healing champion, and she is part of the Heroes of the Plains. Now, she doesn't have an affiliation bonus yet, but I've heard through the C&E grapevine it will arrive at some point, along with the one for Briv. So keep this in mind. At some point in the future, we will see some kind of bonus for having Orkira out with the other Heroes of the Plains. We just don't know what it is yet. So she attacks with her base attack. It is a magic base attack, but it's Burning Hands. Leaps to a random enemy and attacks with a small AoE cone of fire, which I believe you've been seeing shoot out here. The AoE, there it goes. The AoE is nice when you've actually built things up and based off her abilities. We'll talk about that. Let me just throw a bunch of levels at her. Okay. So, first, right off the bat, Lesser Restoration. This is her heal. It heals non-adjacent damaged champions Keep that in mind. Non-adjacent and damaged. So they actually have to have been damaged or the heal doesn't go off. And this is important to remember because of one of her later abilities. But it's every second, and it ramps up quite a bit. Right here, it's kind of low, but trust me, between gear and all of the upgrades she gets, it's going to be a healthy heal by the time we're done. Elemental Fire. Whenever Orkira damages an enemy, they receive 1 stack of Elemental Fire, taking 10% of Orkira's there's a typo. Orkira's damage per second for 15 seconds and receiving additional damage from all attacks. So this is her debuff. Yes, there's a dot that's placed on him, but it's based off Orkira's damage, and she's not your DPS. Instead, it's that it's applying this debuff that's sticking around. This ability stacks up to 10 times. Stacking debuffs are nice. And attempting to add another stack will reset the cooldown of all stacks. So this is why the cone that she has is important, because when you get that stack of enemies built up on your tank, she can just cone a bunch of them and apply that debuff to a bunch of them, rather than if it was a single target hit. Great. You single target debuffed one thing. Woohoo, right? Like, the cone is a big deal. Healing Flame. This increases the effect of Elemental Fire. Again, that's our debuff and the dot. By 100% for each order of magnitude worth of effective healing done with lesser restoration on the current run. Well, what does effective healing mean? Effective healing goes back to where it said damaged champions. So even if, say we get her heal up to 5,000, but they've only taken 100 points of damage, then that adds in 100 points of effective heal down here to Healing Flame. So, having Orkira do lots of healing to things that are taking lots of damage, that's kind of the key. There's a way to, we'll talk when we get to her specs, and maybe that's coming up. Yeah, specs are next. So this is a good lead into her spec, because one of her specs actually lets you heal, even if they're healthy, but just at a lower value. And it's good for building this up. So let's go look at that. So left, Breath of the Phoenix versus Tail Feather of the Phoenix. Breath of the Phoenix makes her Burning Hands cone larger, so she can hit more enemies with it. Again, that's applying the debuff to more people and stacking it up potentially faster, because it has Elemental Fire apply 2 stacks instead of 1. So you're going to hit more enemies with it, and it's going to stack twice as fast. Tail Feather of the Phoenix, though, it increases the effect of Restoration by 100%, but less Restoration will now heal undamaged champions, and Healing Flame will count 1% of this non-effective healing as well. So if you want to ramp up that effect, you use for Healing Flame, which is effectively ramping up the amount of debuff you're going to get. You choose Tail Feather of the Phoenix. So I've been going that one. I think if you don't need like maximum carnage from Orkira, you would go with the left spec, just because you're doing variants. You're going to complete well before your wall. You just want something that's effective, and that's going to ramp things up quickly. Oh, there's her ultimate. I guess we kind of spoiled that early. It's so cool. It's so cool. Look at all that fire raining down. Lasts for a while too. If you're just going to go to a level that's below your normal wall and you just want to complete it quickly, you would go the left spec. But the right spec has the potential to give you the largest debuff based off ramping up this Healing Flame buff towards Elemental Fire. Radiance of the Phoenix is the ultimate. We just saw that one rain down on the screen. And Self-Sacrifice. Did I miss one? No, that was it. Okay. Self-Sacrifice. This is an interesting one. We've seen some mechanics in the game trying to keep people alive. Like we've seen Death Ward. Like Strix has a Death Ward, and Baloth has, the Jinn thing where he keeps people alive. So, or Kira normally, her big thing is normally Death Ward, but we already have that in the game. So instead, she gets Self-Sacrifice. So if a champion or Kira is able to heal, so someone that's not adjacent to her, if they're about to take a killing blow Orkira instantly swaps places with them for 10 seconds and takes the hit for them. During this time, Orkira's overwhelm point is set to twice the other champions. So ideally, this is on a tank, right? But not always. And neither Orkira or the champion can be moved, removed, or swapped out during that period. After the time expires, they swap back, regardless of whether Orkira and or the other champion died during that time. This effect can only occur once every 60 seconds. So this is like a Hail Mary save where she's going to jump up, take a huge hit, which, I mean, if a tank was dying from a boss, Orkira may get splattered, even with a higher overwhelm, because higher overwhelm just affects the bonus damage coming from being overwhelmed, not necessarily damage in general. So hopefully you've got a lot of health share going on so that she can take that. And then afterwards it swaps back. Her achievement is based off this, doing this and having her live, which I've had happen. Even if the tank dies afterwards, as long as she lives through that swap, you're fine. I didn't work at that achievement. I was just AFKing towards my wall, and it happened. Like, oh, hey, I'm at my wall. Oh, I got that achievement. I wasn't even paying attention. So just use Orkira. At some point, the achievement will trigger. That's going to be everything for her. Her items support her very well. She gets damage all champions on 2 slots. Lesser restoration and elemental fire and healing flame. So 3 ability support features, and they're all the ones you want, right? You get her healing, you get her debuff, and you get the thing that magnifies her debuff based off her healing. And then you cool down her ultimate, which is, again, exactly what you want for that all that fire raining down. So her ultimate right here, we already saw it. Radiance of the Phoenix. Orkira flies up over the enemies, grasping the domain of the Phoenix and uttering a prayer, summoning the Phoenix to rain elemental fire down upon the battlefield. Steals damage and increases the elemental fire stacks of effective enemies by 1 every 2 seconds for 10 seconds. So this builds up her debuff on everyone. So even if it doesn't kill people, this is a useful ultimate because it's stacking up her debuff. And then feats are the usual support style with increased damage all champions, and then they go into focusing on abilities. Again, lesser restoration, elemental fire, healing flame. I need to adjust this because I unlocked these. I want elemental fire by 40 and healing flame by 25, I think. I want to use those. Yep. All right. On to next up in this list is going to be, if we're doing this slot based, is Ayla. Here's Ayla. Ayla's your wild elf barbarian, one of the heroes of Erois. So again, there's an affiliation going on here with the other members of the Erois team. So she is tanking support. Like Orkira, she has a debuff she applies. We'll get into that. But again, I think probably the best tank in the game. Howling Gale is your base attack. Ayla attacks the nearest enemy with her Warhammer, knocking them back slightly. So this is... knockbacks are interesting. They can be good. They can be bad. Sometimes they're bad because sometimes you want that ramping damage bonus that comes off of certain tanks, and yet you're knocking them back and they're never touching the front line. So keep that in mind. But generally overall, she works very well with this. Okay, abilities. Storm Aura. Every 4 seconds, a random enemy approaching the formation is primed. Primed enemies take 50% more damage from all champions. So what you'll see is you'll see a lightning, a stroke of lightning come down and tag one of these champions, or one of these enemies. There, it just did it. And then it has this little symbol around it, like it'll get a little circly. Oh, it did it right as that was happening. One of these two will get there. That's primed. That's what it looks like. Heart of the Storm is her health share. So she gets to share in that health and making your party tanky right away. And you don't have to wait for a certain spec choice. That doesn't matter at all here. Storm Soul. When Ayla attacks a primed enemy, they're stunned for 2 seconds. This is a survivability feature. And Electrified. Now, Electrified increases the damage they take from all champions. That's the debuff. So they have to be primed by that electric strike, and then she has to hit them for them to then start taking a debuff. This gets better, though. Raging Storm, when Ayla attacks an electrified enemy, all nearby primed enemies are electrified. So you get an AoE. So as this comes into effect when they build up on your tank wall. They've obviously been primed by then. She jumps out, attacks the closest one, and primes and electrifies all of them. So then your DPS can take them all out. And there is, again, a half-second stun. That's another survivability feature for your tank line. Shielding Storm is what makes her, in my opinion, the best tank. This is a self-shield. Self-shields, and there we just saw it pop up here. Self-shields are just kind of super OP in the game at the moment. When an electrified enemy attacks Ayla, she gains a temp HP at 10% of her max health for each alive electrified enemy. So again, the idea is electrifying as many as possible, and then when they attack her, she gets a shield off of that. This caps at 100 enemies, because that's the max number of enemies you can have out on the screen at once, which means she can have 1,000% of her HP as shield, potentially, if she can live that long. Spoiler, she can live that long. She'll need some probably some items for that, but it can happen. It's ridiculous. And her ultimate, she unleashes lightning across all enemies, damaging and stunning them for 5 seconds. Huge survivability feature. Deals 10% more damage for each electrified enemy on the screen. So the more enemies that are out there, the more damage it does. Her specs are Stormcaller and Stormbreaker. This is one of those rare cases where I'm just going to say there is a best spec to use just all the time. It's Stormcaller. It reduces the cooldown on Ayla's Storm Aura by 2 seconds, and that basically means that it's dropping that lightning to prime everyone faster, and thus making sure everyone is primed, because you want everyone primed and electrified, period. Stormbreaker can be, occasionally break it out if you want. It increases the stun by 2 seconds for the big one. It increases the length of the Raging Storm stun by half a second. Just a survivability feature, but honestly, I feel like 100% of the time you just want to kill them faster. Killing them faster is a survivability feature. All right, let's throw her up. Oh, you know what I can do? I can just I've got familiars for this. Should she get anything after that? Ah, yes, her synergy. So again, this is a synergy feature. With Okira doesn't have one yet. Ayla contributes to the Aurora synergy pool as follows: 100% per electrified enemy. So again, it just builds straight in. She wants lots of electrified enemies anyway. And this is where you can see it's a max of 10,000, because that's 100 enemies. Electrified enemies then take additional damage equal to 25% of the total Aurora synergy pool. This is one of the greater synergies in the game, because it literally just makes her debuff even better. So putting other members of the Heroes of Erois in to build up this pool, she has great synergy with her team because of that ramping effect. Her items support her well. Again, she's tanking support, so we get damage all champions in 2 slots. She buffs that Storm Soul, which is what you want. That's that debuff with her slot 3, and then slot 4 with her health. These are the 2 big ones, because her health is what her shield multiplies off of, and this multiplies her debuff. So these are the 2 huge items for her. Which is why when the golden epics came up for them, of course I got them. Right? And then she gets the ultimate attack damage and ultimate cooldown, as most champions do. And her feats do the same thing. So surprisingly, as a tank, I don't use her health feats. I got this purple Storm Soul thing, and I use that, and I use damage all champions. Because even without adding in health and overwhelm at my level, because of this golden epic and the item levels I have on it, I don't need the extra health or overwhelm from this, frankly, to push super deep. If you were watching yesterday's GG2E, I was using her to push to like 900 plus in the event, and I was doing it with these feats. So yeah, she's a little overwhelming, I guess would be the word. All right, that is Ayla in a nutshell. Let's do her ultimate. There we go. Just destroys everybody. Time to bring in Melf. I have Melf in a... oops, I almost picked his feet. I have Melf in a skin. Let's get him back to his original look. Oh, look, there's Holiday Melf. This was a holiday reward freebie from the newsletter a while back. But here's what Melf looks like normally, as you can see. He's got his Spear of Zagig, and there you can see with his bow, there's his acid arrow sticking up out of the back, even though he doesn't have that feature. So Zagig's Needle, Melf leaps out and does a melee attack to the nearest enemy with his magic spear. If he has any minute meteors active, he fires one at a random enemy as well, because of course Melf has his minute meteors. That's his ultimate. He summons 6 meteors that float around his head. They're fired when he attacks normally and deal AoE Bud-based damage. So this is, even as a support, they're going to do Bud-based damage much like an ultimate normally does, right? So Fighter Wizard, no affiliation currently. Melf's adaptive support spell. He names everything after himself, folks. Just get used to it. Melf's adaptive support spell increases the damage of champions adjacent to Melf. The effect is increased by 50% if another elf is in the formation. You just need one other elf. Just one, that's it. It's not a big deal, but, you know, if it's there, it's nice to have, but Effect range increased by 2 if Melf is not in the frontmost or rearmost columns. This is nice. This is a way to extend it. And the effect is increased by 10% for each unique race in the formation. Again, it's just a nice bonus. You don't necessarily build around it, because usually you're going to get a bigger buff from those from just putting in the most optimal people. And then these are bonuses. These are bonuses you get. Melf's Righteous Determination. This is what his variant is built off of. Melf knows exactly what evil is. Sure. Whenever an enemy spawns, it has a 50% chance of being deemed evil by Melf. That does not mean that half the enemies, I know that it should mean half the enemies come out are evil, but RNG hates you, and it doesn't work that way. Now, we just saw the icon spawn. There it is. See that red skull, the red circle with the white skull? That means it's evil. That means it's evil. So that's how you know. Enemies that are deemed evil take more damage from ultimate attacks. Interesting way to go. That's what it does. Melf's Speedy Supplement. This is his speed effect. So this is a lot of times Melf gets used. Even if you don't use him as a support champion, he gets a lot of use as a speed champion. He provides a random speed up buff. The buff provided changes every 50th area, and that carries over even with resets. So it's just always tracking 50 areas. And draws from these 3 possibilities. There's a chance to spawn additional enemies. There's a chance to increase enemy spawn speed, and there's a chance of increased quest drops. So all of these stack with other champions that have these same features. So like Minsk spawns additional enemies. Well, Melf works right alongside of that. The spawn speed is increased by like Deacon. Melf magnifies along with that too. So putting them together, when that one's triggered, things spawn real fast. It's broken the game in the past. It probably will again in the future. And then a chance of increased quest drops. That's like Human and Havilar. These can add together to make it so you could kill one enemy, if you get it high enough, one enemy, and you're done. And you just move to the next level. It can be wild. As you can see, these numbers can through items and item levels. Melf is a black hole of item levels. It can go up above 100%, and when it does, that means it does an additional. Like if it's dropping, if it's 100% to drop double, then now it's increasing now to a third, right? Like, so this is how this is going to work. It's just going to keep going as you get more item levels in there. And then the ultimate at 95, which we can see right here. See, he calls them up above his head. They float, they spin, and 1 gets used up on every attack. See, now he's down to 5. His spec choices. As you saw, I almost just hit that middle button just by habit, because I always use Melf as a speedster. That's just the thing, and that's extra supplements in the middle. That just makes his speed effect double. So I was at 160, and that jumps it up to 320, and that's real nice, folks. Bonus adaptation, though, is if you're using him as a support, and you want to buff his support ability. His actual support ability, not his speed effect. And then Absolute Righteousness is just to give even more damage to your ultimate attacks, which I don't know if that gets used a lot currently. But who knows? It might change in the future. So if you want him for his support bonuses, you go bonus adaptation. If you want him for speed, extra supplements. So I'm in the habit of always picking extra supplements. Items. Damage all champions, because he is a support. So, of course, you're going to see those. And you buff his support spell, you buff his speed, and you buff his righteous determination. I don't know that this is the greatest, but maybe. The problem is it's random. So if you need to beat a boss and it doesn't pop on the boss, then great. And then obviously his ultimate attack damage. So you don't get the cooldown because it's not a super long cooldown. It's a 60-second cooldown anyway. You just buff the damage, pump up the damage. Good morning, Lauren. You missed us talking about your champion. So that's going to cover... Oof, did I forget anything? Oh, feats. I did. Increased damage to all champions, and then he has a speed feat, folks. That's the big one. Again, can you tell I use Melf for speed? He also, of course, has his adaptive support spell. Even a big one, if you want to go real big. Well, this came with the pirate pack, which is how I got his other. I'm putting his pirate outfit back on. It came with that, so if you want, you can pump him up pretty big. If you want the support, you could run adaptive support at 80 and 40 if you get those. That's better than doing a 25 of these, right? So yeah, super nice. I tend to just do the speed. But I should probably just do that. That's the better combination. That was a recent addition, though. All right. That is going to be all of our champions. So if you have any other questions about Greengrass, again, my guide is up on the subreddit. You can hit it up there. I will be... Got to fix that form ending later today. In fact, I am going to leave that up to do that. So if you have more questions, you can post them there, or obviously you can ask anybody in the Discord. Other people can help you too. The community has been developed over the last 3.5 years to be very helpful and good at answering questions for people. The vast majority of times, someone will be around to assist. So we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back. All the questions you've been asking, I wasn't ignoring them. They're all over here. They're all in a spreadsheet. Go away. They're all in a spreadsheet over here that Jay has created. I will be answering all of those after this break, but we're going to listen to a bit of Bardic Inspiration. This is, well, that I figured that I should have probably got Melf's song for this. Maybe I'll go find that for the finale. We're going to listen to Freely's song, though, because Freely hangs out with Orkira. We don't have Orkira's song yet, but it's coming. Lauren will be on Bardic Inspiration Tuesday, I believe, to make a song for Orkira. But for now, let us go listen to some Hero in Time.
At the door, don't know how I got in here, but now I'm laying on the floor. Another day, another fight, lots of evil left to smile. I stand up tall and pull my sword, time for them to feel my mind. No weight, no need to the crowd. It's hero in town. This lucky boy shines when there's lives on the line. Always falling into trouble, failing where I thought I'd be. If there's someone that's in need, it's where you find lucky freely. Always falling from the sky, fire blasting from my eyes. Gonna get there on the double, I live life as a surprise. Don't wait, no need to plan, get ready, gonna go. It's hero in time, my power's divine, time to stop out the crime. It's hero in time, this lucky boy shines when there's lives on the line. I can burst and thinking last, is how I will the day. Never fight with their true flash. That's the freeway. It's hero in time. My power's divine. Time to stop out the crime. It's hero in time. This lucky boy shines when their lives on the line. Yeah, it's hero in time. My power's divine. Time to stop out the crime. It's hero in time. This lucky boy shines when there's lives on the line.
And we're back. And so is the closed captioning. Apologies to everybody. Anybody who might needed that in the first half. Yeah. Well, I think when it goes up on YouTube, there'll be... I don't know. Doesn't YouTube do their own closed captioning? Unfortunately, the VOD for Twitch won't have closed captioning. I want to kill this Elderbrain, though. Go get him! Go get him! Will that help? I don't know. It did some damage. Not enough. It's getting a lot back. The nice thing about the Elderbrain, folks, and I didn't talk about this, is you can just manually click on the Elderbrain. Because this is just 50 health, that means it's not armored. It's just hit based. So as long as you keep hitting it, this will go away. This will go away. Familiars work too, but familiars will only click once every, and you will only click once every 5 to 6 seconds. Not a big deal. I saw somebody asking also, does this evil mark stay if you pull Melf out? Yes. But again, it's just really for, what's the word I'm looking for? Ultimates. Yeah, it's been a week. It's just for ultimates, so maybe not the biggest deal in the world. All right. I'm going to head back and address the questions that came from the chat. Specifically, we'll start with the stuff about the actual event and the champions, and then I'll do all the general stuff that came in. Those restrictions are harsh. I can't use half of my champions. Yeah. That was more of a statement, but yeah. The Akira formation you showed on stream yesterday has pushed me beyond my highest wall. Thank you. Brain fog, great. I don't know that it's the most optimal formation. I won't make that claim. It did well for me. I mean, I was in the 900s, which is pretty solid. That was a pretty solid push yesterday. Yeah. So that looks to be she looks to be adding quite a bit to the push. Is there a chance to get a free chest more than one chest over 50 stages? possibly get more than one chest on the free. Oh, so free plays? No. Free plays, you get one chest after completing level 50. So this is why you'll see up here I have my Modron set to reset at 51 because I burned through 110,000 event tokens because of all my bounty contracts, just cycling my my automation through 51 and then resetting. There is nothing to increase the amount of free play chests you get other than just doing more free plays. And there is nothing to increase the chance that it would be a gold. Going further doesn't help. Will Narak be available in next year's Greengrass? No, Narak will never be available in Greengrass because he was a year 1 champion. And they only have the most recent 3 champions are all that will ever appear in events unless they change that at some point in the future. But it's been a much discussed and contested idea, and they're, this is what they're doing. So Narak is now a Time Gate champion. It just happens that he was originally available in Greengrass. So you can get Narak from a Time Gate. Do bounty contracts stack with speed potions? No. Did anyone else see the typo in Orkira's element of fire skill? Yes. What if all events are listed as fair for me? Then... that's not possible. Shouldn't be possible. I'd love to see a screenshot of that if you tag me with it on Discord. What they should show as, like all the variants. I'm assuming you're meaning variants and not just base adventures. If all the variants because they trigger their difficulty ratings at different levels. If say if your second variant showed as fair, your first one would show as easy and the next one would show as challenging. Like they change at different times. Now the base adventures, they might all show as fair when you first start. I don't remember. I don't pay attention to that. They very well could because they're pretty easy to complete. But once you've done one, then things start. Once you've built some favor up, they all start changing at different rates. I see my chances of doing all vanish. I started the game a week ago, and 1 billion favor. I have 50 million in regular runs. No, Sukar, no. It is much easier to build up favor in an event than it is, and to push deeper in an event than it is regular campaigns. So don't think that just because you have a low amount of favor in a campaign that you can't build up enough favor to do everything in an event. You absolutely can. You absolutely can. It's going to come down to your formation building, which as a new player probably isn't strong for you yet, but there's help out there. Like I said, my guys have a base starter formation you can use. And then you can swap out with there. There are people in the Discord and the hashtag formations channel that'll help you out. But everybody's here to help you complete everything in the event, as long as you come ask for help. But you absolutely can, because the health on enemies scales like at a slower rate, and I believe the gold scales at a higher rate. So you're able to push further, faster in events because they are little micro cosms of a campaign. That's the nice thing about this game, is that they made their event a mini campaign. They're like, everything that happens starting a new campaign happens here, but you get to move through it faster. So by learning how to progress and complete things in an event, you're actually learning how to more efficiently progress in your campaigns. There's good synergy there. Which spec of Ayla is the tank spec, left or right? No, it doesn't work that. Ayla doesn't work that way. I mean, technically, the right spec is survivability because the stun is longer, but just debuff more enemies. Just do the left spec. If you really want to go super survivability with her, put it this way: I tanked yesterday on stream into the 900s. I was not using the right spec, but the right spec would be the survivability spec, because it just increases the stun. But unlike when I say Nayeli's tank spec is devotion and not vengeance, what I'm saying there is Nayeli actually scales her health values differently in devotion than in vengeance. She focuses on doing damage or buffing people in vengeance by a small amount, but at the cost of a lot of health. She also doesn't get her health share in Vengeance. That's only in Devotion. So Ayla isn't like that. Does Orkira's race naturally walk like that, or is it an animation thing? Or if you go back and watch either Idle Insights this week or Mars' Guiding Hand this week, Lauren went into Orkira in detail. TLDR, Dragonborn normally don't have wings and tails. She was mutated, altered, changed by a Sibriex. And she was becoming a dragon, so her proportions are out of whack. And the way she moves and things is a little not like other Dragonborn because she's no longer like other Dragonborn. Okay, I did 19 already. Any more? All right. Yeah, that looks like everything. All right, I'm going to go back and just do general questions. So if you have general questions, folks, now's the time for them. We got like 45 minutes. We can hang out and answer anything. I'm new. I just unlocked Dritz. Is he better DPS than Jarlaxle? If you're brand new, probably not. Jarlaxle's really solid for a while. And then he gets surpassed by like Hitch or Ashara. One or the other of those, depending on... I like Hitch, but Ashara works okay too. Yeah. I'm just biased towards Hitch, and I can admit that. And that's fine. Scanner Brightly, can you explain Sentry's redshift ability? Her third gear slot improves redshift, but that only additively adds the chance of a lower monster loot count for the Neville. How is that different from Human's Carefully Balanced when it says multiplicatively? Because adding and multiplying are two different things, right? Redshift is basically you're improving the chance of... here, let me level her up a bit. Boom. Redshift is the ability that under Create... it affects Create Echo Resolution, which if Sentry has not been attacked in the highest unlocked area, there is a % chance that quest requirements in the next area are reduced by 30%. So Redshift just increases that chance of it triggering. They do it additively because multiplicatively it would cap out way too fast. It would cap out because this caps. This is also multiplied by an item, right? This item, the effect basically caps it out so that it is, as you saw up here, 101.3% chance. My duplicate took me over 100. My final dupe took me over 100%. But once this is at 100%, it's done. That item is done, and you're seeing a max, as you'll see up here, reduction. It will be 17 every time instead of 25. That's how it works. Multiplicative is usually signifying that there is no cap. It will just multiply and multiply and multiply. And that basically means that instead of adding up these totals to get something that because you're going towards a goal, or maybe they just don't want it to be overly strong, then they'll go with additive. Usually that's signifying a weaker effect. Multiplicative is usually when all the things break. Hold on. Yeah, so multiplicative is usually going to be a stronger buff or debuff or effect overall. Additive is usually the weaker of the two, and in this case, it's because they're giving you a cappable feature as opposed to the things like Melf, where Melf just it keeps going up. What's his speed? Yeah, 321.4. Like it's just going wild over here, right? Like they want that to go up and up and up. Does Azaka farming still work? Yeah. Yeah. Whether or not you can do it with a mimic or not, that's probably not as easy anymore. But generally overall, I mean, Azaka farming still is how you earn lots and lots and lots of gold. Is that Pirate Freely? When was that available? It is Pirate Freely. Right here. Ba-bam. This was a weekend offer, like a weekend buff thing. This was the skin and his feet which was a fantastic feat. Master Orator, Adventurous Tale, 80%. These were available as the sweeteners on a weekend deal during the Idle Champions Presents thing that went on. So at some point this will show up and will go to wild offers. You can get Master Orator. You can just buy this. This will be 50,000 gems on his. It'll show up down here. But the skin will end up being in a wild offer, I'm sure. I think I got all but one of the pirate skins. Hold on. Yeah, I don't have Brivs yet. Brivs and Alindras were both $25, so I was like, I'm gonna buy one, and went with Alindras. Because who doesn't want a pirate griff? But yeah, pirate flow will have to be a thing. At some point, I just haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. Do familiars do specific things? Yes and no. Yes, I mean they do. Like depending on where you put them, all familiars do the same things. Like they are universally the same. They're just visually different. But what they do is automate tasks for you. Like if I hold down the F key, it shows all these little white highlighted areas. If you hover over them, it tells you what they do in that slot. So clickers, hey, it's going to click your enemies 5 times per second. With 3 or more out on the field, the gold is instantly collected. With 5 or more, boss stacks will be picked up right away. That's effectively a speed effect, both of those. And with 6 familiars assigned, distractions will be automatically clicked, which is why that bat just died in the background. This is like random ultimates. This, that you can choose a specific ultimate. You can choose a specific champion to level up, which is what I'm doing down here, or you can level up click damage, which this is going on over here. So yeah, they do different things based off where you put them, but they are all specific functions, just specifically based on where you place them. This is a statement, not a question. Dragonbait is the best tank, no matter how much abuse received from Dylan. Dragonbait is still in the game. He's not. Dragonbait's he's a solid tank. I'd recommend unlocking him. He's great for lots of different variants where you can't use other people. He's not the best tank in the game. Sorry if this sounds simple. How do you increase attributes, strength, int, just by increasing champ levels? No, you don't. This is not D&D. This is a D&D based game. So it's a game that's themed around D&D. So we'll have lots of D&D features. These stats are mostly fixed. The only way you'll be able to change them ever is with a feat. Some feats. Let me find someone who actually has a... Gromma has one. Some champs will have a feat like Keen Mind, which increases the intelligence score by 1. The effect this has is to qualify them for buffs or for variants or for patrons. It does not change them specifically necessarily as a character. Like, if you raise your melee DPS's strength, it does not make them do more damage in this game. Did I do my time gates already? No, I haven't. I did some. I'm down to 159 pieces. But we have a new champion out, so I will see if I get full epic on Orkira before I burn time gates again. Why do you set automation to 51, not 50? You still get a chest if you set 50. Yeah, I know. So I was part of the alpha testing group for automation and multi-party mode. Alpha testing it's a painful experience in any game. If you're truly alpha testing, you're seeing things in very broken states, and you're trying to find and reproduce bugs. You're not playing a game. You're trying to find and reproduce bugs and report them, so that they will get fixed before beta starts. Originally, if you set the reset at 50, you didn't get the bag, and it sucked. It works now. It works now. Yeah, it totally works now. I just still have that in the back of my head because I lost. Once you lose something, then you're like, nope, 51. So I just do 51. It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't affect it. It doesn't really slow me down. Adding one more level. So I just leave it at 51. Because even though it works, I still get scared when it says 50 now. Who are 3 champions you recommend we dump contracts onto? I'm assuming the Atomic S that you're talking about blacksmithing contracts. Blacksmithing contracts you only ever want to use on your event or time gate champions. Because your core and evergreens are going to get tons of item levels just off opening all those regular silver and gold and electrum chests. But really the regular silver and gold chests. All champions will go up with electrum chests. But blacksmithing contracts are really exist to help you focus in on your time gate champions. Or time gate and event champions. And in that sense, you want to look at who you're using all the time. Who is the core of your groups, and give them a boost. Don't go all in on any one champion. Spread them out. If you want to target 3 of your most used champions, go for it. I like to do the whole a rising tide lifts all ships approach. So that's the wrong one. I try to create like a minimum floor that my lowest fully epic champion is at. Like Orkira's brand new, so she's real happy, but she's only got 9 item levels. Even though I've got, all blues and an epic, it's still not, she doesn't have the weight of one of these other I mean, she does, but her items don't have the weight of one of these other champions. So my current item floor is 90, but that's after 3.5 years of focusing on raising a floor. Yours might start at like 50. And then as you save up blacksmithing things, go to 60. And just slowly increase over time. Or you can just focus on someone. Like I dumped a lot straight into Sentry to max out her redshift, right? Because I knew there was an end in sight. So I found that end. Who else did I focus some on? Oh, lately I've been focusing on, because they're black holes of blacksmithing contracts. I've been focusing on Human and Briv. So Human's up to 135, even though he's not fully epic yet. This is who I still have to hunt. And I don't even have this, and this is the one you want. I still have to do time gates for him. I've done a couple, but I need to do more. Who else am I missing? Oh no, did I get full epic on everyone else? That's probably why I stopped. Yeah, I got Lucius's last. So Lucius ended up a very high item level because I had to go hunt down his epics. Normally, or otherwise he would have been at his floor, so he didn't get there. I've also... Where's Briv? Yeah, Briv's up to 356. I dumped a ton into him. But generally speaking, as you can see, a lot of these are like in the 90s. Like Zorba is only 100, and he was the OP DPS for a long time. But I didn't dump lots of bounty contracts into it. I didn't need to. He and Avron's still one of the best supports in the game. He's still got a low item level compared to some other champions, right? Yeah. So I put it where I feel like I need it, or where it's going to do me some good, but generally I try to even them out. How can you get favor so fast? I stuck at E25. Power. Overall account power. Favor isn't your only form of power in the game. You've also got, all of your blessings, right? Like global best blessings help you push further. Patron perks. I've got to go work on Zerial, but for Mert, Vajra, and Strahd, I'm capped out. I haven't even spent any of my influence on Zerial yet. Hey, here we go. Boom! I've got tier 1 over there. Yay! Yay for me. Oh, look at that. Okay. That's fun with Zerial stuff. I'll switch this around because really I need to push in Zerial, which means I need it all over here in local. But anyway, you get extra power for pushing from this. I also have extra power from... That's the wrong button. I have extra... no, that's... I'm only using a fast core right now, which has no power in it at all. But when I want to push super far, I put my fully epic flow out strong core or modest core in. So this is what I had in yesterday when I pushed to 900 and something, right? So that's why I have so much favor, is because I use all of that power to push real far and get a lot of favor, and then I do it again, and then I do it again, and then I do it again. You got to run multiple times, multiple favor runs to really get to your max. So right now I'm at E37 Lathander's favor. It'll be, wow, with that run into the 90s or 900s, if I can repeat that and Azaka farm, which I did not do, I'll easily be in the 40s, like maybe mid 40s, maybe even high 40s. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll wait. Right now, this weekend, we don't have a gold find buff. Maybe I'll wait to see if next weekend there's one and do a deep run next weekend. I finished all the stuff in the event. Do I just free play for favor or go back to adventures? Well, you need to look at how much favor you earned. If you can go in and earn a whole other EO1 or more favor in a favor run in the event, do it. If you do a deep push in the event and it ends up being less than EO1 favor that you increased, you're done with your favor grind. You've effectively gotten as much as you're getting out of it, as long as your formation was optimized. You're not really going to get much more. And at that point, then you're just doing free plays to 50 to get your chests. Is Orkira locked out from getting items from gold chests during Greengrass? No, event champions never get items from regular gold chests. They only get items from their named chests. So like, see this gold Orkira chest. This is how you get items for her. She has a silver chest too that looks like this. And she'll get items out of Electrum chests. But these silver and regular silver and gold chests, these only drop, as it says if you hover over it, gear for non-event champions. So that you will never get that gear from those. How do you get Artemis to attack constantly? He will reset his attack if another DPS attacks. So having lots of DPS in your formation, if I remember correctly, or having his ult active, something like that. I don't know. You don't necessarily worry about attack speed so much as damage. So focusing on the one might be at the detriment to the other. Sorry for asking him to formulate the question wrong last time. Okay. I noticed using Electrum chest and variants gets you gear for said variants hero. Maybe 10 first chests when opening one chest at a time. Is this a feature or just fabulous luck of the draw? No, Electrum chests include gear for... I think I just answered this accidentally. Electrum chests include gear for every champion you have unlocked, whether they're a core, an evergreen, or an event or time gate champion. It says this when you hover over it. Each chest contains 5 items, 1 equipment item for a random unlocked champion, 1 gem card, 1 bounty contract, 1 blacksmith contract, and 1 potion with rarities from common to rare. Whereas this says 5 cards between uncommon and epic with gear for Orkira, the Dragonborn Cleric. That's all that's going to come out of Orkira chests, right? And these say 5 cards between uncommon and epic gear with gear for non-event champions. Right, same here. So you just got to read what each chest drops. So that's why I save my Electrums until a new champion comes out. Specifically, a new event champion comes out, because I don't care about gearing up all the others. I've got gear for all the others. I want gear for the new champion. Or I at least want to include them in the pool of things that drop so that they can get some item levels. I was hoping Mel's pirate skin would come back. Is there any chance of that during this event? No. I don't know. Chaos Coming. It just came out not too long ago. Again, part of Idle Champions Presents. So, yeah, I don't know. Was it a weekend offer too? Lauren, do you remember? Sounds like it. Because otherwise it would be in the gem shop, or it would be in the cash shop. So if it was a weekend thing like Freely's, then you're just going to have to wait for it to show up in a wild offer. It must have changed Griff in some way, because when at first I got it, he was bouncing up and down like crazy. Oh, no, yours will. Undoubtedly, yours will. I have that turned off. So if you go in settings and you disable flashing lighting effects, it also stops a lot of the click touch animations on familiars. You see that at the bottom. So I have a lot of that stuff turned off just for the sake of potential viewers who might have sensitivity to that kind of thing. What are distractions? Distractions are the little tiny things in the background that either fly by or scurry by or pop up out of containers. If you click on them, they drop gold. Let me Let's sit here for a second. And one will either fly or scurry by, maybe? We'll see. There goes one. See this bug? See that bug? Bling. Click it, and he gives you some gold. That's a distraction. Oof, that's horrible. All right. I don't know why I'm leveling these up. I'm not really trying to push anywhere. Do you have like top 3 DPS in game? If yes, which 3? I mean, look, when you start out, don't worry about that. Literally, don't worry about that. When you start out, Jarlaxle's a fantastic DPS. Ashara comes core. She's right here. The Aarakocra lady. Right here. She's one of your core champions. You get her just playing the game, and she's considered one of the top tier DPS at endgame. Hitch is over here. You get him from the newsletter. Come up here to your main menu, wherever your menu is. Click newsletter. Sign up for the newsletter, because not only do you get free chests every week, but you get free Hitch. You get free Hitch. And Hitch is a support, but he can be used as a DPS and works really well. So early on, for a very long time, the last time I started my new player account, I went a good 3 months completing tons of content and never used one of what's considered top tier DPS. So I don't think you need to worry about that anytime soon. Mathematically, currently, Ashara and Zorbu are still kind of the top in this duel, depending on what your gear is. And that's another thing, is early on your gear, because your gear is not going to be the same for everyone. Your gear really determines who's going to be good. So if you have a couple purples on one DPS, it may make them stronger than a DPS that only has greens and blues. Even though if they had the same gear, the other one would be stronger. So you really just situationally have to test out, when you get to your wall, the different DPS and try using it. Jay's double checking on the Melf thing. Yeah, I thought it was, well, I don't remember. Yeah, I kind of wish when I went here and I hovered over this, it would tell me where that came from. But it doesn't. Not once you have it. If you don't have it, it tells you. Oh, I don't have Briv. Oh, well, no, that's broken too. It used to be that if you didn't have a skin, you could click here, and then it would tell you where the skin came from, but apparently that's not working. Welp. Sean. How many bounties is a good amount to use when I hit a wall? Oh, no, you don't do that. Yeah. So when you use bounties during an event, I'll come back to that, Lauren. When you use bounties in an event, it is recommended to use them at your wall on your first or second run. But you use, like I said, I use all of them at that point. Like on one of my first runs, I will just dump all my bounty contracts. The reason you do this is, 1, you want all the tokens to do other runs, but 2, it does drop gold, which helps you in that first run. It helps you go a little further. It's going to help you level up your champions a couple more times. But yeah, it's not like you hold on to bounties for every single run you do and use them at your wall. That's not what we're talking about. We're just saying you hold on to your bounties until an event starts, and then you use them. Or you use some of them. If you're just going to use part of them, then you just use part of them, and some people hold on to them for the next event to see. Yeah, it's more like that. Christmas Melf. So the Elf Melf is in the gem shop, I'm seeing, which is, yeah, that makes sense because that was a giveaway. Lauren. Coming here, I don't know if it's a bug or not. If I hover over one of these, I would like to know where they came from. I don't think that's ever been a thing. However, at one point, we got a thing where they made it so that if a character had a skin, this would still let you click on it, and then it would tell you where that skin came right here, like it works here. It's working for Sentry. It's not working for Briv. Briv definitely has a skin. We looked at his pirate skin in the store, but it should show up like this: Sentinel Prime Sentry, $9.99. I just want to know for ones that I have where they came from, and that's never been a feature. Yeah, part bug, part missing feature. Yep. Do you still have holes in Orkira's equipment? I don't think so. Oh yeah, for this one. Yeah, that's a lot. 2 of them, but that's because I bought this one. I knew what I was doing. I knew what I was getting into when I bought the GE. When I bought the GE bundle, so that's fine. It should fill out. I now have, Lauren, look at this. I now have 30 gold Orkira chests. That should take care of it. Coffeenia Lauren asked, so it's fine. Is there an easy way to tell which of your crew have a missing feat for setting them up on deep runs? If you don't have one slotted at all, there will be an exclamation point here telling you that, trying to draw your attention to them. Otherwise, like what I do is when I get to my wall, I go in and I check. One of the things I check if I have my what I think is my final push formation is I check to see what feats I'm running for them. I really need this one if I'm going to use her as... I need these 2 if I'm going to use her as a DPS. That's probably why I don't use her as DPS, is I don't have those. So yeah, that's, you just got to check if you've already slotted one in each. How can you get 4 enemy killed when you kill 1 enemy? We kind of went over that with Melf. This is a Melf thing. It's also a Human thing and a Havilar thing, depending on what's going on. But Melf has a % chance of increased quest drops. Well, his is quest drops, but other people have, like Human has an increased chance for... So when you kill 1, and you pick up 1 drop, it's actually multiple. Human has a thing where if you kill 1 thing, it credits multiple kills. Those are speed effects that certain champions have, so you got to keep your eyes out for those. So if Motor and Core buff says X of all champions, it will buff the champions in all 3 groups. X of all Breaker Fist, are you talking about in all champs if it says the damage of all champions? Like this increases the damage of all champions? Because yeah, that means it's buffing all champions. But it's only in... Oh, you mean all 3 parties? No. Modron buffs only apply to... Modron buffs only apply to the party that has the Modron slotted. But if it says % of all damage of all champions, it means all champions in your party where you have that slotted. Like right now I have this Modron slotted. I have some gold buffs. That's all I went for. That's all I went for while I leveled and automation. But if I were to slot my other one with all champs damage, that would be all champs damage, just like anything else. It's all the champs that are in your party currently active. Yeah. Where do you see a Modron's core's name? You don't. You don't. When you first unlock them, like when it says, when you do split the party the first time, it says if you hover over it, it rewards you a modest core. And then when you go to buy additional cores and you buy your strong core, it says strong core. And then when you go to unlock the speed core or the fast core, it'll say fast core. But now after that, there's nothing. It's just the visual. This is modest. It's just the open eye, the plain open eye. The squinty eye is the strong because it's like armored or whatever. And then these have like winged, like these are feathered eyebrows. So I guess that's denoting that he's fast. I don't know their art direction. You'd have to ask their art people. Is it worth doing the buy XYZ patron chest challenge? You spend 5,000 tokens for a 750 reward. Generally speaking, I don't like to do that because I'm losing currency. However, if if that champion or if that patron offers gear for a champion I have not fully epicked out, then I'll do it, because then it's a discount. Then I'm getting a 5,000 chest for 4,250. But if I don't need anything from that patron chest, then it's just a cost. Melf's pirate skin was weekend promo, so like Freely's. That was the Veteran Brigade weekend. So yeah, so that one's only ever Melf and Freely should only show up in wild offers. Just to double back. Thank you, Jay. If you're a free-to-play player, what do you think is the best strategy to find the best rate of progression? Team Vash, I posted a new player reference guide on the subreddit. Tron just linked to all of my guides. But if you go to the new player reference or guided tour, that is basically me walking myself and everybody through starting up a free-to-play new player account. And I think I think that's the best way to progress. So it's all explained in there. But you can 100%, you can play this game free to play. You do not need to spend money on this game. I would like the game to keep existing. So, if you can afford to throw some cash out every now and then, please do so. I think familiars are great quality of life features that make the game far more enjoyable than normal. If that's all you ever want to support in the game is buying some familiars, that's great. And there's a lot available. So keep that in mind. Also, buy Bardic Inspiration, Volume 1 on Steam. I gotta get that in because it's fantastic. I probably could have listened to that today, but I think I've got the regular game sound in the background. When you switch to a stat feat to qualify for a variant patron during the run, the champion's still grayed out. Yeah, that's a bug. Last week you did a trick to fix that. What was the trick again? Switching parties. Switching parties usually makes it work, but if it doesn't, you just got to restart. You got to restart the game. Where do I find the guide to Gaarawarr's formation to this event? I'm new to the game and having trouble. Dennis, go watch yesterday's Gaarawarr's Guide to Everything in Idle Champions. The VOD is currently on this Twitch channel. So after this is over, if you go watch that, you'll be able to see the formation that everybody's talking about. I don't post pushing formations in guides or anything like that. I post a starter formation, which is a base formation for people to look at and go, okay, I can see I'm brand new. These are the champions that I have. And okay. And then what I want in that is for people to look at that and critically think about why I placed those champions in that position. And then as they unlock new champions, then make adjustments to their formation based off that. So they're not necessarily going to be always the perfect setup. Like sometimes I'll switch. I vary between the starter and the next formation examples because I always post 2. I'll change Hitch's specialization because I want people thinking about it, and I'll change who the DPS is because I want people thinking about it. But you can use. But then I say, hey, change it however you want. These are not meant to be the perfect formations. I've been collecting chests since New Year. Why? Currently 5k silvers, 400 golds, 219 electrums. Anyone else hoard them before? Why? Arcaniner, are you fully epicked in your core and evergreen champions? And are all your event champions like blue or better? Because otherwise, you're sitting on a lot of power that you could be using. I will hoard champions. I will hoard chests between events, but events happen every 3 weeks. Yeah, I mean, chests are power, so... do fully epic, modest, and strong cores have specific uses, or as simple as the strong core is better than the modest core? No, actually, the modest core fully epicked out is currently better than the strong core, but who knows if something will happen to the game later to change that. I think if they add an overflow mechanic, the strong one becomes better, but I won't know that until they actually do it. Is Orkia's Phoenix related at all to the Phoenix and 1E deities and demigods? David, that's a question for Lauren. Lauren, did you answer that earlier? I think it was based off the art. She was explaining, I think the Phoenix was based off the art from one of the more recent books that came out that was like, it wasn't even the final art. It was like the just kind of rough sketch art. So I don't know. But yeah, she says she answered that earlier. So did I input my stream code today? I don't think I did. But I liked the code I came up with. Oh, no, it's The Phoenix Rises. Yeah. Here we go. What happened to that daily week chest thing? Oh, the 4-day big unlock with the special just failed. Oh. X7373Z. There was a week of that event. That was a special event. That was the Spring Extravaganza where you could open up a chest every day. The Celeste did fail to do on day 4, but they fixed it before it was over so that you could claim it. If you then didn't log in and try it after that. Yeah, that's gone now. I don't know if there's a way to get it now. You can submit a ticket and see, but I answered again, yes, the basic Phoenix is based off the concept art for the Mordecai and Toma foes. Phoenix, but a lot of the powers and the way the Phoenix acts was pulled from a lot of places, including that book. There you go. Why don't you play all champs in your formation? Because I was demonstrating specifically these 3 today, so this is just something to have in the background while we're talking. Where are you using your modest core instead of strong core in your main? I'm not. I'm actually using this is my speed core because I'm trying to level it up. Because you level up a core, you get one. Oh, my voice. You get 1 XP for every level you complete. So until this is 15, I will be leveling it up in my active party because that's the fastest way to level it up. What is your favorite familiar currently out? Oh, that's rough. I like too many of them. Obviously, I like Griff and Grant. They're new. I like Pirate Iris. The Gift Rack Mimic will always be a favorite. Triavor. This is Triavor, host of Champions of Lore. That's canon. I mean, there's lots of neat ones. What's the green flamey familiar and how do I get it? Oh, this is the green. You can't. We talk about this almost every time. You can't. This is the green mage hand skin. The green flame skin for the mages. Yes, familiars can have skins. It's the green mage hand skin. It was a tie-in thing with Penny Arcade. I don't know. It was free at the time. It's never made an appearance in the gem shop. I don't know why. I don't know if they have a contract that says that they can't give it out that way. It's kind of like the Chef Dinar, the Yum Yum Hut Dinar skin here. That was only a PAX Australia thing. I don't know if I don't know. I think maybe that might be in Wild Offers now, but I don't know about this. So there are some things that they've given out that I don't know. I don't know what they're doing when it comes to making them available again, or even if they can. This is the one that gets asked about a lot, though. Well, that was all of those questions. What do we got live in chat? Anything? Do. So I saw the green mage hand skin was a word from PAX. No, that was the green click damage skin. The green click damage skin was the Karmic Mad Jig code. Like this. That was the click damage skin that may still work. We question this all the time. And then they had a stream. So if you had that code, and then they had a Penny Arcade stream where on the Penny Arcade was playing Idle Champions, and they did a Twitch drop to drop Jim, or maybe Idle Champions did it. Anyway, they did a Twitch drop to get the Green Flame Jim Dark Magic skin. And if you collected both of them, that triggered unlocking the Green Flame Mage Hand skin. But that was the specific trigger, was to have them both when that drop happened. And I don't know that there's ever been a way to get that since. You can't get both. Like you can, if you have the Green Flame thing and then you buy and then you get the Green Mage, the Green Flame Gem, it doesn't then unlock this, which is the question. Some get Gar some tea or some halls. Well, I don't drink. Well, I guess there's non-caffeinated tea. I just don't drink tea because usually it's caffeinated, and I don't drink caffeine. I do have Ricola over there. Yeah. It just always happens. It always happens that during a stream, I don't think it's that my voice is hoarse. It's just that, I don't know, my allergies kick in. I got confirmation that Dinar, Yum Yum Hut Dinar is in Wild Offers. There you go. I don't know. I don't know the list. I don't know if anyone's ever made a list of everything that's in the different places. It's not something I'm going to do. I have too many guides. Too many. Alrighty. Let's see what else we got. Any idea what the turnaround time is for a wild offer? Nope. I mean, they happen like every 2 or 3 days. But it's not like they cycle through a different one. It's not like you're guaranteed to get a different reward every time it pops up. It's just going to offer you a different combination of things. I've gotten the same thing offered like 3 times, or at least twice in a row, but I think 3 times in like a month, but in different combinations, like in different packages, price packages with different other things. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a big random thing. How hard is the quest to unlock Zariel compared to a standard mission? The Zariel is a patron, a null mentor, and thus it is a standard mission. But you are completing the Descent into Avernus campaign to unlock Zariel, which means, spoiler alert, you have to fight Tiamat. So, it's as difficult as you'd imagine fighting the goddess of dragons would be. It's Rhea that is not a standard mission. Unlocking Rhea, the Rhea Reborn mission, is basically a preview of what Patron Zariel stuff will be. Has the same requirements. That happens off Idleglen, and I did a guide to that. I did a guide to Rhea Mantlemorn that's now up on the YouTubes, on the CNA Games YouTube. It's real hard. Yeah, it's currently an end game. While I consider all of the other evergreen unlocks to be part of your early game, and unlocking Alcoria and shifting into and picking and unlocking Alcoria and then Mert and Vajra is the kind of the trigger of what I consider the edge of starting your middle game. Rhea is an end game content currently. She needs lots of power from all the different places. Like, I had a rough time doing it on my account with a level 15 full epic Modron core, like the Modest core. All 3 patrons maxed out on all 3 of the current patrons maxed out on perks and all the blessings, plus all my characters are epic with at least average of 90 item levels. And it was rough. I had to really play around with my formations to finally find a formation that worked. And it was a little unusual from what I would normally have built. So yeah, it's going to take a lot of power. Zariel is easy. Unlocking Zariel as a patron is easier than unlocking Rhea. I'm at Idleglen in Avernus. How close is that to getting Rhea? Well, if you complete Idleglen, Rhea is unlock is a variant of Idleglen, so you're right there. It's just that, like I said, you need lots of power. Just getting there isn't enough. You have to have the power then to complete that. Did I have to use potions to unlock Rhea? I think I used epics in the tutorial, in the guide that I'd made. I think I'd thrown epics up, and that was enough. That was enough to blow me past with the perfect formation for me. Again, everyone's might be different, but the perfect formation for me And every ounce of power I had, I ended up getting like another 25 levels past the goal. But it was when I was first testing everything out. I did a test run like the day before, and it was real rough for a while. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you're struggling getting Rhea, just unlock Zariel first, and try to get some of her stuff, like her global stuff. Her global, like I just did. Her global stuff will help. Over here, there's a double damage. This is a damage if the area is hellish, which guess what? Rhea's thing will be. Damage of good champions. This won't matter because you won't have Rhea yet, right? But yeah. I mean, if you just don't have the power to do that, but you somehow have the power to do Zariel stuff, build up your Zariel stuff. Do you know about the new champion for the next event? Even if I did, I couldn't talk about it. Right? This is Orkira's event, so we talk about Orkira. Talking about Rhea, would you now put Orkira in your formation? Oh, for Rhea's unlock. Right then. Is that... Hold on. Oops, that was the wrong button. Yeah, so she qualifies. Possibly. Orkira's pretty strong. Yeah, so Orkira qualifies for all of them. Yeah, that's a possibility. And I think we're wrapping up. Yep, we're almost there. So we're going to listen to... I'm going to have to change... It's going to say that we're listening to a different song than we're listening to, but we'll listen to, on the way out, Melf's Mighty March, because I totally spaced and forgot that Melf does have a song. I was like, Ayla and Melf and Orkira don't have songs yet. Oh, no, Melf did. So yeah, so we'll listen to Melf on the way out. If you could give input on a new champion, what would you like to see? Oh, I answered this the same way every time. More dwarves. I want more of the older, the dwarves from books. I like from the Cleric Quintet. I like the Boulder Shoulder Brothers, Ivan and Pakel, and I like from the Dritz novels. I like the Tannabritches sisters, Fist and Fury, and I like Athrogate. So I would love to see more dwarves. All right, we are out. I will see you all next week. Remember, no streams on Sundays for CNE, but they'll start back up on Monday with Champions of Lore. I believe Champions of Psychology returns next week, which was a great series. I have it in my calendar as next week. And next week we'll be continuing to do more event stuff, so there's no content drop or anything next week. So yeah, just push through your event, get your work done. If you have questions, hit up the Discord or post in my guide on the Reddit, and I will try to get to it when I see it. Otherwise, bye everybody.
Morton Cannon was a mentor to him, sent him to a mystical plane, learning magic from the circle of fate. Life would never be the same, always fighting for the forces of good, valorous, stalwart and kind. First to the fight, last out the door, he'll never leave an ally behind. Mind is sharp as a sword, arm as sure as his word, leading the charge to justice with never-ending toughness. He'll never be corrupted. Love can always be trusted. Found a forger, creator of spells. That's why we all remember his name. Acid arrows flying, meteors flying. charge to justice with never-ending toughness. He'll never be corrupted. Milk can always be trusted. Leading the charge to justice with never-ending toughness.